I like technology, given I'm a software engineer by education, and I like to work with ambitious founders that want to change the world. So with angel investing, I get both cool tech projects and great people.
I wouldn't generally say every Swiss startup has to go to the US. It really depends what they're working on, what type of product it is, what type of technology it is. Is there a big market in the US for it? Are the strategic partners there? I wouldn't say generally it makes sense for everyone, but for certain companies it makes a lot of sense. We invest a lot in health tech companies, and their regulations and also what can be reimbursed in terms of software and in terms of technologies, for example, way ahead than what can be done in Switzerland. So it does make a lot of sense for these type of companies to look at the US. I think also generally we look for founders that really think big and global, and the US is one big market. So once you have reached the time to actually access or actually put the work into it, it does make sense. But it can be the right approach to say, let's build some first traction, validation in Switzerland and Europe, and then when we know what the product is, let's go to the US and scale it. And what we mostly see is that sales and marketing moves towards the US, but R&D and development still stays in Switzerland or in Europe.
Investing alone is quite boring. Investing in a team, that's my thing. Yeah. So you learn a lot from other co-investors. You can join forces. When you do due diligence, many more people can actually help you. Now, when I was looking what is out there in angel investing clubs, in 2014, Switzerland was a medtech, biotech country. So most venture capital went into these verticals. Almost no one invested into software companies. But I saw the big potential. We had these amazing founders that come out of universities, but they didn't really find investment, so they didn't really start. And I wanted to help them. And so I was looking for like-minded people that like tech. And so we said, okay, if there's no angel club with a focus on technology startups, let's do it ourselves. And so it has grown quite rapidly. Last year we had 3 billion investments. Half of it went into fintech and ICT startups. So now we are a fintech ICT country, and there's also still some medtech, biotech, but it's no longer the primary venture capital vertical. So that's why there was no focus on technology with angel clubs, and that's why we had to do it ourselves.
I mean, there's a few things that are quite different, but I think for me, one of the main things is really the mindset. I think an American investor as well as founder always looks for the opportunity. What can really change the world? What can really be big? Like it's really always future oriented. In Switzerland, I think people are a little bit more careful. So it's a lot more around risk assessment. Like, how much runway do you have? How are you going to make your first sale? So it's really more a risk assessment rather than an opportunity assessment. And at some point I had an aha moment a couple of years ago. It's also in the language, right? In English we say venture capital. In German, Risikokapital. So we already have it in the term how risky it is. And I think we Swiss people, all of us, like not only investor as well as the founders, we can really think a little bit bigger and we can really go for the opportunity. And I think that would help. That would help in terms of having more capital flowing into startups, also the potential for bigger rounds, and also for founders to think, no, I can scale this to a really large company. I don't need to sell this after a few years. So I wish that for Switzerland, to really look more for opportunities rather than risk.
The start is always hard, so maybe you should read how other people did it. And one way to do that is you download the Angel Handbook. This one, Swiss Angel Investor Handbook from angelhandbook.ch. It's for free, and it's definitely a good start because it summarizes all the things that you might encounter on your journey to become an angel investor. So download it from angelhandbook.ch for free.
I mean, the book that helped me is actually the US version. It's called Venture Deals, and I think it is good also for Swiss investors to read that international perspective. And then I think the Swisspreneurs website we're on, the whole podcast series, there's a lot of interesting interviews with other investors, with founders, success stories. I think it could make startup investing quite tangible because you hear people, you hear their stories, and they have started their own syndicate, which I think is quite exciting for Switzerland. It's an easy way to get started. They're promoting, I think, several companies during the year. I don't know if it's once a month where you can, with a rather small ticket, get started. And I think from there, then the opportunities are open to join an investor club, to become your own investors, to work with a venture capital firm. But I think probably the Swisspreneur Syndicate is a nice way to play with the idea and get your hands dirty.